You said, "I'm fine" today. Maybe 3 times, maybe more. And the strange thing is, nobody questioned it. They nodded, moved on, talked about something else. And you felt it again. That quiet, familiar feeling. Not sadness exactly. Something more like invisibility. Here's what nobody tells you. The most isolated people on Earth are not the ones sitting alone in dark rooms. They're the ones surrounded by people, smiling, functioning, answering "I'm fine," while carrying something heavy that no one ever thinks to ask about. This video is about those people. And if you're still watching, there's a good chance it's about you. Picture this, a normal Tuesday. You wake up, feel that low, dull weight in your chest, the one that has no name and no obvious reason. You go through your morning, get dressed, maybe make coffee. Someone asks how you're doing, and without even thinking, automatically, like breathing, you say it. "I'm good, just tired." And that's it. Conversation over. They move on, you move on. But inside, something just happened. Something small and important. You had a moment, a real, genuine moment, where you could have said something true. And instead, you closed the door. Quietly. Politely. Like you always do. This isn't weakness. This isn't dishonesty. For most people who do this, it started as survival. There's a pattern in psychology called emotional masking. It's when a person becomes so practiced at presenting a stable, composed version of themselves that even they start losing track of what's real underneath. It doesn't happen overnight. It usually starts in childhood. Maybe you grew up in a house where emotions were inconvenient, where crying was too much, where problems were meant to be handled quietly, privately, without burdening others. Maybe nobody modeled what it looked like to say, "I'm struggling and I need help." So you learned the opposite. You learned to compress, to manage, to be the one who holds it together. And you were rewarded for it. People called you strong, reliable, mature, easy to be around. So you kept doing it. Here is where it gets important. When you spend years telling people you're fine, something shifts. It's not just that other people stop asking, it's that you stop knowing how to answer, even if they did. You lose the language for your own inner life. You sit with something painful and you cannot find the words for it, not because the feeling isn't real, but because you've never practiced naming it out loud. It lives somewhere below words, below expression. Just this quiet pressure that you've learned to carry so well that some days you forget it's even there. Until it gets too heavy. And this is the dangerous part. Not the masking itself, but what it creates around you. A version of loneliness that is almost impossible to explain to someone who hasn't felt it. Because you are not alone. You have people, friends, family, maybe a partner. But none of them really know what's happening inside you. And the longer you keep saying, "I'm fine," the more that gap grows between who they think you are and who you actually are. Psychologists call this the fine paradox. The more convincingly you present as okay, the less likely anyone is to reach in. And the less anyone reaches in, the more isolated the real you becomes, even while the performed you is completely surrounded. Think about the friend who is always the listener, always the stable one in the group, always the person everyone calls when they need support. But when was the last time someone called to check on them? When was the last time they called someone else? Think about the person at work who handles everything calmly, never complains, never asks for too much, never makes it difficult. Everyone thinks they're fine. They think they're fine. Until one day something small breaks them. A minor comment, a small rejection, and the reaction feels wildly out of proportion. Because it wasn't about that moment. It was about every compressed moment before it. Here is what I want you to sit with for a moment. Being fine all the time is not actually neutral. It is a choice, even when it doesn't feel like one. And that choice has a cost. Not just emotionally, but physically. Research in psychosomatic medicine has consistently shown that chronic emotional suppression is linked to elevated stress hormones, weakened immune function, disrupted sleep, and a significantly higher risk of anxiety and depression over time. Your body keeps the score, even when your face doesn't show it. But here is the twist that most psychology videos won't tell you. The problem is not that you hide how you feel. The problem is that you were never given a safe enough place to stop hiding. The mask didn't appear because you are broken. It appeared because at some point, being real felt more dangerous than being fine. Someone, or many someones, taught you that your emotions were inconvenient, too much, not welcome here. That was never true. It was just the only thing available to you at the time. So what do you do with this? You don't have to tear the mask off all at once. That's not how healing works, and it's not what I'm suggesting. What I am suggesting is something smaller and much harder. Start noticing the moments when you say, "I'm fine," and it isn't true. You don't have to say something different yet. Just notice. Build the awareness first. Reconnect with what's actually there, underneath the automatic answer, underneath the habit. And then, slowly, find one person, just one. Someone who has shown you, even once, that they can hold space for something real. And practice saying something true to them. Not everything, just something. A small crack in the door. Because here is what I know about people who are always fine on the outside. They are not empty. They are full. So completely full of things they've never been able to say that there is almost no room left. And all of that, every compressed feeling, every swallowed truth, every "I'm fine" that wasn't, it deserves to exist somewhere outside of you. You were never meant to carry all of it alone. And the fact that you've made it this far carrying this much, that's not something to be ashamed of. That's something to be incredibly gentle with. If this felt familiar, share it with someone who always seems okay. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do for someone is let them know they've been seen.